Hi everybody. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about the Informative Writing Graphic Organizer, which is a planner that will help you to organize your ideas as we move towards our synthesis informative essay that you're going to be writing. So I think that this is a really helpful planner, but there's a couple places in here I just kind of want to explain or elaborate on. So the first one is some notes on why the issue is important or controversial. So think back to any kind of work you've done around like what's the debate? What are the two different sides you're looking into? And then the synthesis question is what you want to learn from looking into the two different opinions. So if you're looking at an opposing side that says something like teens should be banned from social media, and another side that says teens should not be banned from social media, the question you would be looking for as a synthesis question is, should teens be banned from social media? If you're looking at a point of view that says something like that freedom of speech should never be infringed upon, and another opposing viewpoint that says freedom of speech should be limited when it's harmful to other people, then the synthesis question might be something like, should free speech ever be limited? So you're looking for the question that you're trying to answer by looking into these two opposing views that you have from the sources. In the background information, there's something that it says Article 1 context notes and Article 2 context notes. I think that might be a little unclear. So just to understand what you're saying with context, you're providing like a little bit of background. This would be a good thing to maybe give like a little bit of background about like where the source is coming from. So again, let's use an example like social media. You might, for context notes, want to say something like, well, the first source comes from a doctor who's looking into different ways that physical health is impacted by social media. And then in your second article, your Article 2 context notes might be something like, this source comes from a therapist who has actually seen the benefits that social media can have for some students or for some kids who are trying to find a particular peer group to connect with online. And so that'll give just a little bit of like background and context. Key overall ideas and our concepts to explain or define would be if there's anything that you think it's important to know going into this. Then we get into these sections, the paragraph 3, paragraph 4, and then the exploratory synthesis paragraph. So you can see that these sections are really breaking the paper up into paragraphs that you're going to include in your paper ultimately. But for paragraph 3 and 4, what you're looking for is a question or argument point that both authors address or discuss. And that's what you're going to write over here where it says question/argument point 1. So if both authors talk about the emotional impacts being online and certain social media sites have on teenagers, that would be, you could either list that as an argument point and say like emotional impact on teenagers, or you could frame it as a question. What is the emotional impact on teenagers? And then whatever the first author says about it, put here. Whatever the second author says about it, put here, with quotes and paraphrases from the article to address like what exactly the article says answering this question or argument point. And then explain what you explain what they mean. So your ideas for your tie-in, like what are these authors saying? And you're going to do the same thing for paragraph 4. So really here, you're looking for a topic or a question that both of the authors are answering. Now, because these are opposing viewpoints for the most part, they're not going to be answering them in the same way. So this is a really nice chance to do some contrasting. There might be some things that they do that you can compare, that they do agree on, but you don't have to have them like giving the same definition for a certain thing. The point of this is to kind of synthesize the different viewpoints and to understand how different people think about questions within your topic. And then down here, the exploratory synthesis paragraph. These are just some questions to answer. So these ideas will end up in your paragraph where you put all the information together. And then there's some helpful tips about what to include for your conclusion. So hopefully that explains everything on the planner that you're going to have to kind of cover and what those terms mean and what I'm looking for.